Crystal wine glasses clinked as Anne raised her flute, her diamond tennis bracelet catching the chandelier light. Everyone at the mahogany dining table fell silent, except for the quiet sob building in my throat that I refused to let escape. My name is Bonnie, and this was the moment my marriage began to die. I think we all know why we're here, Anne's voice carried across the formal dining room. Gregory's business setbacks have become concerning. Her eyes locked onto mine, razor sharp. When my son married beneath his station, I hoped love would overcome certain limitations. I gripped my napkin under the table, knuckles white. Next to me, Gregory stared at his plate, silent as a statue. The same silence he'd maintained through 3 months of bounced checks and missing account statements. "Mother," Gregory finally spoke, his voice weak, "perhaps this isn't the time." "It's exactly the time," Anne cut him off. "Your father built an empire, and now look at you, living in that modest townhouse, driving domestic cars. All because you let yourself be distracted." She spat the last word like poison. I took a slow sip of water, buying time. Around the table sat the entire Walton extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, all watching the show with barely concealed fascination. The lamb on my plate had gone cold. "Anne," I said carefully, "I run a successful interior design firm. Our lifestyle choices are just that, choices." "Choices?" Anne laughed, the sound like breaking glass. "Like choosing to drain my son's trust fund for your little hobby business?" The accusation hit like a slap. I hadn't touched Gregory's trust fund, didn't even have access. But the confusion in my gut was quickly replaced by something else. Clarity. 3 months of mysterious withdrawals, late-night phone calls, business trips with no receipts. "Gregory," I turned to my husband, "would you like to explain to your mother how I accessed money I never had authorization for?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Bonnie, please, not now." "When then?" My voice was steady, surprising even me. "When the credit card companies start calling? When the mortgage payment bounces again?" Anne's face flushed red. "How dare you air our private matters?" "Private?" I stood up, my chair scraping against hardwood. "Like the private text messages I found from someone named Bianca, or the private casino receipts stuffed in Gregory's golf bag." The dining room went deadly quiet. Gregory's cousin Victoria choked on her wine. "You've been snooping through my son's things?" Anne's voice trembled with rage. "I've been trying to understand why our joint account is suddenly empty." I placed my napkin on the table. "But you're right about one thing, Anne. This is a family matter, and since I'm clearly not family..." I walked toward the door, pausing only when I reached the threshold. "Gregory, when you're ready to tell the truth, you know where to find me. Until then, enjoy your mother's empire of delusions." The drive home was a blur of street lights and suppressed screams. I pulled into our garage. Correction, my garage, since I'd bought the townhouse with my own money before we married. And sat in the dark, hands trembling on the steering wheel. My phone buzzed. A text from Zoe. How bad was it? I started typing, then stopped. Zoe had been my best friend since college, but lately, something felt off. The way she'd changed subjects when I mentioned money troubles, the lunch dates she kept cancelling. Instead, I opened my browser and typed Easton Wise Investigations. The website was simple, professional. The reviews mentioned words like discreet and thorough. Another text from Gregory. "Mother's upset. We should talk." I looked at our front door, imagining him coming home later, full of excuses and half-truths. He'd try to smooth things over like he always did. He'd say his mother was just worried, just protective. He'd promised to stand up to her next time. But there was something different now. The fog of confusion had lifted, replaced by cold, sharp purpose. They thought tonight was their victory. Poor, classless Bonnie, put in her place at last. I clicked the Contact Now button on Easton's website and typed a brief message. Then I got out of the car, straightened my dress, and walked inside to wait for my husband. Let them think they'd won. Let them believe I was broken. I'd spent 3 years trying to fit into their world of old money and older prejudices. Now it was time to show them exactly what a self-made woman could do. The game was about to change, and I had nothing left to lose. These are just from the past 3 months. Easton spread photos across my office desk, each one a knife to the heart. Your husband's been busy. I picked up a receipt from the Chateau Royal. $5,000 for a business dinner. The date matched one of Gregory's supposed client meetings in Chicago. Except, according to his credit card statements, he never left the city. There's more, Easton said, sliding over a manila envelope. Bank statements showing regular transfers to multiple accounts, most under female names. The largest payments go to someone named Bianca. My hands shook as I opened the envelope. Inside were screenshots of text messages, hotel receipts, and something that made my stomach turn, a membership card for an exclusive gentlemen's club downtown. How much? I asked, my voice hollow. Total withdrawals over the past year? Just under 200,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. I thought about the morning Gregory proposed, how he'd surprised me at my tiny starter apartment with coffee and croissants, how he'd promised we'd build something beautiful together. My phone buzzed. Speaking of the devil. Hey, honey, Gregory's text read. Late meeting tonight. Don't wait up. I checked the time. 4:30 p.m. Right on schedule. I need you to follow him tonight, I told Easton. Get photos of everything. After Easton left, I pulled up an old photo on my phone. Gregory and me at our wedding, his arms around my waist, both of us laughing. I'd designed my own dress, refusing Anne's offers of family heirlooms. You look cheap, she'd said, but I suppose that's your aesthetic. My office phone rang. Bonnie, it's Andrea, Anne's goddaughter. Andrea, how did you get this number? Listen, I don't have much time. There's something you need to know about Gregory's ex-fiancée. I sat up straighter. I didn't know he was engaged before. Exactly. Anne made sure of that. The girl was from a working-class family like you. She found out some things about Gregory, threatened to go public. Anne paid her to disappear. My heart raced. Why are you telling me this? Because Anne's doing it again. She's been covering Gregory's debts for years, but this time it's different. The money's coming from places it shouldn't. A knock at my door made me jump. Zoe stood there, looking nervous. Andrea, I have to go. Thank you. I hung up as Zoe walked in. Hey, stranger, she said, trying to smile. Can we talk? I cleared my desk quickly, but not before Zoe caught sight of the hotel receipts. Her face went pale. Bonnie, I need to tell you something. Save it. I held up my hand. Unless you're ready to explain why you've been helping Gregory hide money. Her eyes widened. How did you... Your business credit line, the one you said was maxed out from renovations. Gregory's been using it for his gambling debts. Tears spilled down Zoe's cheeks. He said it was temporary, that he just needed to cover some investments until they paid off. He promised he'd pay it back. And you believed him, after watching him lie to me for months? He showed me documents, plans for this huge development deal. Said Anne was backing it, but the paperwork was delayed. I laughed bitterly. There is no development deal, Zoe. Just like there's no start-up, no investors, no anything, except my husband burning through money with his mistress. My phone buzzed again. A message from Easton. Following target now, headed to Chateau Royal. Female companion matches description of Bianca. I'm so sorry, Zoe whispered. I'll help you. Whatever you need. I'll testify. Stop. I held up my hand. I trusted you for 15 years. You were my maid of honor. And you chose him. Bonnie, please, I have a meeting. I stood up, gathering my things. I suggest you talk to your lawyer about that credit line, because when this all comes out, you'll need one. As I walked to my car, another text came through. This one from Gregory. Missing you. Dinner tomorrow night? Just us. I smiled, thinking of the meeting I had scheduled with Samara, the city's most ruthless divorce attorney. "Can't wait," I typed back. "I have something special planned." Let him think I was still the trusting wife. Let them all think I was breaking. The truth would come soon enough, and it would shatter their perfect world into pieces too small to ever put back together. I started my car, heading to the lawyer's office. In my rearview mirror I could see Zoe standing in my office doorway, still crying. Some bridges burn slowly, I thought. And some you have to torch yourself. The opera house sparkled like a jewel box, but all I could focus on was Anne's hand gripping Gregory's arm as we walked in. Her diamond rings caught the light, a silent reminder of the wealth she lorded over everyone. "Darling," she called out, her voice dripping honey, "that dress is interesting. Vintage, I assume." I smoothed down my designer gown, one I'd actually helped design last season. Brand new, actually, but you're right, it was inspired by classic silhouettes. Gregory shifted uncomfortably between us. 3 days had passed since Easton's photos confirmed Bianca's existence, but I'd played the perfect wife. Even now I reached for Gregory's hand, squeezing it gently. "The box seats are this way," Anne gestured, "though perhaps Bonnie would be more comfortable in the general admission area." "Mother," Gregory started, but I cut him off with a laugh. "Actually, I've arranged something special." I pulled out 4 tickets. Front row, centre orchestra, better acoustics. I thought we could all sit together. Anne's face tightened. These seats cost more than her box, and we all knew it. As we settled in, Andrea slipped into the seat next to me. "Aunt Anne," she said sweetly, "I hope you don't mind me joining." Anne's eyes narrowed. She knew Andrea had been talking to me, but couldn't make a scene. Not here, not now. The lights dimmed as the orchestra tuned up. I felt my phone vibrate, a text from Samara. "Documents ready, meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. On stage, the tragedy unfolded. A beautiful woman discovered her husband's betrayal, his lies, his other life. How fitting. During intermission, I excused myself to the powder room. Andrea followed. "The transfers are getting bigger," she whispered, checking under the stalls. "Anne moved 50,000 last week, called it a family emergency." "From the estate trust," Andrea nodded. "She's executor, but she's not supposed to touch the principal. If the other beneficiaries find out..." The bathroom door swung open. Anne stood there, her face a mask of fury. "Andrea, dear, your father's looking for you." Andrea squeezed my arm before hurrying out. Anne waited until the door closed. "Whatever you think you're doing," she hissed. "Stop, now." I reapplied my lipstick, taking my time. "I'm just enjoying the opera, Anne. Isn't that what family does?" "You are not family. You're a gold digger who got lucky." I turned to face her. Funny, I'm not the one embezzling from a trust fund. The colour drained from her face. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Don't I? Like, I don't know about Gregory's ex-fiancée, or about August introducing him to his bookie, or about Bianca." "You ungrateful little..." "Save it." I snapped my clutch shut. The second act's starting. We wouldn't want to miss the climax. Back in our seats, Gregory leaned over. "Everything okay?" "Perfect," I smiled, patting his hand. "Your mother and I were just discussing family matters." On stage, the betrayed woman plotted her revenge. The audience gasped as she unveiled her plan. But they hadn't seen anything yet. After the show, August caught me in the lobby. Gregory's oldest friend, looking expensive in his tailored suit. The same suit he wore when he took Gregory to underground poker games. "Careful, Bonnie," he murmured, too low for others to hear. "You're poking around places you shouldn't." "Like the casino where you and Gregory lost 60,000 last month." His smile faltered. "He told you?" "He didn't have to." I stepped closer. "Here's what's going to happen. August, you're going to stay away from my husband. Or the Gaming Commission might receive an anonymous tip about certain unlicensed establishments." "You're bluffing." I pulled out my phone, showing him photos of their private games. "Try me." Later that night, Gregory came to bed smelling of whiskey. "You were amazing tonight," he slurred. "The way you handled Mother. I should have stood up for you more." I let him pull me close, ignoring the ache in my chest. Once his touch would have made everything better. Now it just reminded me of other women, other lies. "I love you," he mumbled, already half asleep. I waited until his breathing steadied before slipping out of bed. In my home office, I opened my laptop to find an email from Easton. Found the connection. Anne's been funneling money through Gregory's accounts to cover her own tracks. Sending proof now. I clicked through the attachments, each one another nail in their coffin. Tomorrow, Samara would start the legal proceedings. But tonight, I allowed myself one moment of pure grief for the marriage I thought I had. The woman I used to be died in that opera house tonight. In her place stood someone stronger, someone who knew exactly what needed to be done. Let them sleep soundly. The real show hadn't even started. He withdrew how much? I gripped my phone tighter, staring at the bank alert. 15,000, Samara confirmed. From your joint account 20 minutes ago. We need to move fast. I pulled up my banking app. The account was nearly empty, again. 3 days after the opera, and Gregory was getting bolder. Freeze everything, I told her. Every account he has access to. Already done. But Bonnie, there's something else. Your friend Zoe, the credit line Gregory used, it's not just maxed out, it's in default. My stomach dropped. How bad? 120,000. The bank's threatening legal action. A knock at my office door made me jump. Edith, Anne's housekeeper for 20 years, stood there wringing her hands. "Ms. Bonnie, can we talk?" I waved her in. "Samara, I'll call you back." Edith closed the door carefully, checking twice to make sure it latched. "I shouldn't be here, but I saw something at the house." "What kind of something?" "Mrs. Anne, she was burning papers in the study fireplace, banking documents. And there was a name I recognized, Bianca Wise. My heart raced. "Wise? Like Mr. Easton's daughter?" Edith nodded. "I heard Mrs. Anne on the phone. She was angry, saying something about keeping quiet about the trust." The pieces clicked. Bianca wasn't just Gregory's mistress, she was Easton's daughter, and Anne had been paying her off. My phone buzzed. "Andrea, emergency, meet me at Cafe Luna, now." "Thank you, Edith." I grabbed my purse. "Be careful, don't let Anne know you were here." 20 minutes later, I slid into a booth across from Andrea. Her hands shook as she sipped her coffee. "Aunt Anne knows I've been talking to you," she said without preamble. "She threatened to cut me out of the trust if I don't stop." "The same trust she's been stealing from. It's worse than that." Andrea lowered her voice. "Remember Gregory's ex, the one Anne paid off? She didn't just leave town. Anne fabricated evidence that she was embezzling from Gregory's first company, threatened to press charges if she didn't disappear. Do you have proof?" Andrea pulled out a USB drive. "Everything's here. Bank transfers, emails, even recorded conversations. Anne never thought I'd betray her, so she never hid anything from me." "Why are you doing this?" "Because she destroyed my mother the same way. Accused her of stealing, forced her out of the family. I was 12. Haven't seen Mom since." My phone lit up with texts. "Gregory, why can't I access our accounts?" Anne, "Call me immediately." Zoe, "Please help. The bank is threatening foreclosure." "Andrea," I said slowly, "how would you like to help me destroy Anne Walton?" She smiled, tears in her eyes. "I thought you'd never ask." Back at my office, I found August waiting. "You blocked his accounts," he said, following me inside. "Bad move, Bonnie." "Like introducing my husband to high-stakes poker? That kind of bad move?" "He came to me, said he needed quick cash to cover some mistakes." August stepped closer. "You really want to know what those mistakes were?" "I already know about Bianca, and the gambling, and Anne's embezzlement." He laughed. "You don't know shit. You think Gregory's just some rich boy gone bad? Ask yourself why Anne's really protecting him, why she's burning evidence. Tell me. Double my usual finder's fee and I'll give you everything. Bank accounts, dates, names. The real reason Anne paid off Gregory's ex. I wrote a cheque, handed it over. Talk. An hour later, I sat alone in my office, staring at the wall. The truth was worse than I'd imagined. So much worse. My phone rang. Samara. The accounts are frozen, she said. But Gregory's trying to access your business accounts now. Claims he has partner rights. Let him try. I've got something better. I plugged in Andrea's USB drive. How quickly can you get a forensic accountant? For what? To trace 5 years of systematic fraud, blackmail and embezzlement. Turns out the Waltons aren't just toxic, they're criminal. Give me 2 hours. Samara paused. Bonnie, once we start this, I know, no going back. I looked at my wedding photo, still sitting on my desk. But they started this war. I'm just going to finish it. Another text from Gregory. Baby, please, I can explain everything. I typed back, of course, dinner tomorrow night, just family. The trap was set. All the players were in position. Tomorrow night the House of Walton would fall and I'd make sure every single one of them got exactly what they deserved. Sometimes karma needs a little help, and I was more than happy to assist. The charity gala buzzed with nervous energy. I'd made sure to invite all the right people, society columnists, business reporters, even that ambitious blogger who'd been investigating old money families. They circled the room like sharks, sensing blood in the water. Darling, Anne air-kissed my cheeks, what a lovely event, though perhaps a bit exposed for family matters. I gestured to the crowded ballroom. Isn't this what you wanted, Anne? Your son's wife finally acting like proper society. Gregory appeared, looking uncomfortable in his tuxedo. The, accounts are still frozen. Banking error, I smiled sweetly. Being sorted out as we speak. A reporter approached, notebook in hand. Mrs. Walton, could you comment on your son's innovative investment strategies? There are rumours of quite impressive returns. Anne's face tightened. Gregory has always had a natural talent for finance, like his father. Really? I touched Gregory's arm. Honey, tell them about that exciting new development project. The one you've been investing in? Gregory paled. That's confidential. Oh, but everyone's talking about it, I pressed. Especially after those interesting transactions were flagged by the Banking Commission. The reporter's pen moved faster. Anne grabbed my elbow, nails digging in. What are you doing? She hissed. Creating a paper trail, I whispered back. Isn't that what you taught Gregory? Document everything. Across the room, Andrea was chatting with the blogger, casually dropping breadcrumbs about family trusts and missing funds. Right on schedule. Bonnie. August appeared, drink in hand. A word? I followed him to a quiet corner. Make it quick. I have reporters to entertain. This is suicide, he muttered. You really think you can take down the Waltons? They'll destroy you. Like they destroyed Gregory's ex or Andrea's mother? I sipped my champagne. Or should we discuss what really happened to that first trust fund? You don't understand. Gregory isn't just gambling away money, he's laundering it, I finished. Through your poker games. Don't worry, the Gaming Commission already knows. His face went ashen. You wouldn't. Try me. Back in the crowd, I caught snippets of conversation. Heard the accounts are frozen. Something about missing trust money. Wasn't there another fiancé before her? Perfect. Anne was holding court near the donations table, bragging about Gregory's business acumen. I stepped up beside her. Tell them about the start-up, Mother, I said loudly. The one Gregory's been funding through those special accounts. Well, she faltered. Or maybe about Bianca. She's quite the investment, isn't she? The circle of listeners grew quiet. Anne's smile became brittle. Perhaps we should discuss this privately, she said through clenched teeth. Why? Isn't family business public business? That's what you taught me at that lovely dinner party. Gregory appeared, sweat beading his forehead. Bonnie, please. Oh, speaking of business, I waved over the banking commissioner. Gregory, didn't you want to discuss those irregular transfers, the ones from your mother's trust account? The commissioner perked up. Transfers? Anne grabbed Gregory's arm. We're leaving. Now. But the press wants photos, I called after them. Something about dynasty in crisis. That's tomorrow's headline, I believe. They practically ran for the exit. Around me, phones were out, recording everything. The blogger was typing furiously on her tablet. Samara materialized at my side. Everything's documented. Ready for tomorrow? I watched my husband and his mother flee from the truth they'd tried so hard to hide. Almost. One more dinner, one more chance for them to lie. They'll try to stop you. Let them try. I raised my glass to Andrea across the room. She nodded back, mission accomplished. The truth's already out there. They just don't know it yet. My phone buzzed. Easton. Bianca's agreed to talk. Full statement about Gregory, Anne, and the money. Meeting tomorrow morning. I typed back, perfect timing. The gala continued around me, but the damage was done. Tomorrow's papers would be full of questions about the Walton family finances. Seeds of doubt planted, waiting to bloom into full-blown scandal. Gregory texted, "What have you done?" I smiled, thinking of the dinner I'd planned for tomorrow night. The final act in this family drama. Just giving everyone what they deserve, I wrote back. See you at dinner tomorrow. Don't be late. You won't want to miss this. Let them spend one more night pretending they were still in control. Tomorrow their carefully constructed world would crumble, and I'd be there to watch it fall. Sometimes the best revenge is simply telling the truth. And I had saved up so many truths to tell. The roast lamb was perfect, the wine was flowing, and my husband's hand shook as he lifted his glass. Across our dining room table, Anne kept glancing at her phone, no doubt seeing the headlines from last night's gala spreading across social media. Lovely dinner, darling. Gregory attempted a smile. Maybe now we can discuss unfreezing the accounts. Of course, I cut into my lamb, right after we discuss Bianca. The clatter of Anne's fork hitting her plate echoed through the room. How dare you! I had a fascinating conversation with her this morning, I continued calmly. She had quite a lot to say about both of you, especially about the trust fund money. Gregory's face went white. Bonnie, whatever she told you was documented with receipts. I took a sip of wine, just like the evidence Andrea provided, and the banking records August sold me. Anne stood up so quickly her chair toppled backward. We're leaving. Gregory now. Actually, I pressed a button on my phone. You'll want to stay for this. The doorbell rang right on cue. I smiled. That would be Samara, my lawyer. Gregory lunged for the door, but I was faster. Samara walked in, briefcase in hand, followed by two men in suits. Mrs. Walton, one of them, showed his badge. I'm Detective Morris. We have some questions about certain financial irregularities. This is ridiculous, Anne sputtered. Gregory, call our lawyer. Your lawyer's already been served, Samara said, laying out documents on the dinner table, along with the Banking Commission's cease and desist order. Gregory slumped in his chair. Bonnie, please, I can explain everything, like the $23,000 charged to Bianca Wise at Chateau Royal. I slid a receipt across the table, or the $150,000 embezzled from the family trust, or maybe the offshore accounts Anne's been using to hide money from the IRS. Anne's face turned purple. You have no proof. Actually, Detective Morris interrupted, we have quite a lot of proof, including signed statements from Miss Wise and Mr. Swanson about their roles in the money laundering operation. August would never... Gregory started. He did. I pulled out my phone, played the recording. August's voice filled the room, detailing every transaction, every scheme, every lie. You recorded him? Gregory whispered. I recorded everyone. I turned to Anne. including your conversation with Gregory's ex-fiancée 5 years ago, the one where you threatened to frame her for embezzlement if she didn't leave town. The detective stepped forward. Mrs. Walton, we'll need you to come with us. This is absurd! Anne looked wildly around the room. Gregory, do something! But Gregory was staring at the papers Samara had laid out. Bank statements, transfer records, hotel receipts. His hands trembled as he picked up a document. Mother! His voice cracked. What did you do with Dad's trust fund? What I had to, Anne shrieked. To protect you, to protect our name. This little gold digger has no idea. Actually, Samara interrupted, my client has a very clear idea. Clear enough to provide evidence of systematic fraud spanning 5 years. Clear enough that the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit is very interested in your family's banking activities. I stood up, pulled out one final envelope. These are divorce papers, Gregory. Sign them now, and I won't press charges for your part in defrauding my business accounts. You can't prove... Zoe gave me everything. I met his eyes. Every transaction, every lie, every time you used her business to hide money for your gambling debts. The fight seemed to drain out of him. I never meant... It wasn't supposed to... Save it for your lawyer. I pushed the papers closer. Sign. As Gregory scrawled his signature, Anne was being read her rights. She kept screaming about family loyalty, about ungrateful wives, about the shame of it all. Detective, I called out as they led her away, don't forget to check the safe in her study, behind the Monet. Andrea mentioned some interesting documents stored there. Finally, it was just Gregory, Samara and me. The papers are signed, Samara confirmed. I'll file them first thing tomorrow. Gregory stood, shoulders slumped. Where am I supposed to go? The plaza has a room waiting, paid for by what's left of your trust fund. I walked to the door, held it open. Consider it my parting gift. He paused in the doorway. I did love you, you know, in the beginning. I know, that's what made it so easy to believe all the lies that came after. After they left, I poured myself another glass of wine, looked around the dining room where I'd just demolished the mighty Walton family. My phone buzzed. Andrea, it's done. Aunt Anne's being processed now, thank you. I smiled, raised my glass to the empty room. The truth had finally set us all free. You lying little bitch! Anne lunged across the conference table, her handcuffs rattling. 2 officers grabbed her shoulders, pulling her back into her seat. Mrs. Walton, her lawyer warned, please remain calm. We sat in the courthouse conference room, surrounded by attorneys, detectives, and financial investigators. The morning papers had exploded with headlines about the Walton family's fall from grace. Let's review the evidence again, Samara said, maddeningly calm. Bank statements showing systematic embezzlement from the family trust. Witness statements from both Bianca Wise and August confirming the money laundering operation. And, of course, the recorded confession from Gregory. Gregory sat at the far end of the table, looking shell-shocked. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his eyes hollow. I trusted you, he whispered, staring at his mother. You said the money was going to investments. Everything I did was for you. Anne's mascara ran down her cheeks. To protect you from women like her. She jabbed a finger at me. The lead investigator cleared his throat. Mrs. Walton, we've traced over $2 million in misappropriated funds, money that belonged to your late husband's beneficiaries, including my mother. Andrea stepped forward, dropping a thick folder on the table. Every transaction, every fake document, every threat you made to force her out of the family. I kept everything. Anne's face crumpled. Andrea, darling, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. Andrea's voice shook. You destroyed my mother's life, just like you tried to destroy Bonnie's, just like Gregory's ex-fiancée. The door opened and Zoe slipped in, eyes red from crying. Miss Stevenson, Samara acknowledged, please state for the record what Gregory asked you to do with your business credit line. Zoe wouldn't look at me. He He said he needed to cover some gambling debts, that his mother would replace the money once the development deal went through. But there was no deal. He used my company to hide money he was paying to Bianca. And the amount? Samara pressed. 120,000, Zoe's voice cracked. The bank seized my assets. I'm losing everything. Gregory finally spoke up. I'll pay it back, somehow. With what money? His lawyer interrupted. Your accounts are frozen, your assets are under investigation, and your trust fund is empty. Actually, I pulled out a document. I have a proposal. All eyes turned to me as I continued. My company will purchase Zoe's business assets at market value, covering her debts. In exchange, Gregory and Anne sign full confessions and agree to make restitution to all affected parties. You can't be serious, Anne spat. Dead serious. I met her gaze. Sign the confession, or I'll make sure every society page and business journal knows exactly how you forced Gregory's ex out of the country. With proof. The room fell silent. Gregory's lawyer whispered something in his ear. I'll sign, Gregory said quietly. I'll tell everything. Gregory, Anne shrieked. It's over, Mother. He picked up a pen. You taught me to lie, to hide, to manipulate, and look where it got us. As Gregory began his confession, Andrea touched my arm. There's something else. Something about my mother. What? She's alive. In Toronto. Anne's been paying her to stay away all these years. I smiled. Call her. Tell her it's safe to come home. The next hour was a blur of signatures, statements, and legal terms. Anne was led away to begin her house arrest pending trial. Gregory left with his lawyer to check into rehab, part of his plea deal. In the hallway, Zoe caught up to me. Why? She asked. Why help me after what I did? Because 15 years of friendship means something, even if it ended badly. I handed her the purchase agreement for her business. Sign this, and we're even. But our friendship is over. Tears rolled down her face as she signed. I'm so sorry. I know. I took the papers. Goodbye, Zoe. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Questions flew. Is it true Anne Walton embezzled millions? Did Gregory really run a gambling ring? What about the allegations of blackmail? Samara stepped forward. My client has no comment except this. The truth always comes out. My phone buzzed. A text from Bianca. Thank you for everything. I typed back, take care of yourself. Another message popped up, this one from Andrea. Mom's booking a flight home. Want to help me surprise her? I smiled, thinking of Anne in her mansion, alone with her lies, of Gregory in rehab, finally facing his demons, of all the lives they'd tried to destroy. Justice doesn't always wear a black robe, I texted back to Andrea. Sometimes it wears designer heels and carries receipts. The morning sun felt warm on my face as I walked away from the courthouse. Behind me, the mighty house of Walton lay in ruins, brought down not by force but by the simple power of truth. And I had never felt stronger. The key clicked in my new penthouse lock as Andrea helped me carry in the last box. Through floor-to-ceiling windows, the city sparkled like scattered diamonds, a view that would have made Anne seethe with jealousy. Mom's flight lands in an hour, Andrea said, checking her phone. I still can't believe she's really coming home. Believe it. I unpacked a frame, my first design award, earned while the Waltons were sneering at my little hobby business. How's the trust redistribution going? The lawyers found everything Anne hid. All the beneficiaries are getting their shares plus interest. She smiled, including Mom. My phone buzzed, a news alert about Gregory. He'd completed rehab and was working at a small accounting firm, living in a modest apartment. No more gambling, no more lies. Sometimes rock bottom has a foundation you can rebuild on. Have you heard from Zoe? Andrea asked. She sent an email. The business transition is complete. She's moving to Seattle. Fresh start. A knock at the door made us both turn. Samara stood there, holding a bottle of champagne and a thick envelope. "It's done," she announced, striding in. "Anne's plea deal is final. No jail time, but house arrest, full restitution, and she's barred from managing any trusts or estates." "How's she taking it?" "Last I heard, she's selling the mansion. Can't afford the upkeep without the trust money she was stealing." I opened the envelope. Final divorce papers, signed and filed. Gregory had surrendered all claims to my business and assets. Freedom, printed in legal terminology. "Speaking of business," Samara continued, "that development deal you found? The legitimate one?" "The old theatre renovation? Board approved it this morning. Your design firm got the contract," Andrea squealed, hugging me. "You're going to transform downtown." "We are," I corrected her. "If you still want that project manager position." Her eyes widened. "Really? Really? Time to build something new." My phone lit up with a text from Bianca. "Thought you should know. August got raided. Feds found everything. No more underground poker games." "Good," I texted back. "Stay strong." Samara popped the champagne, filling glasses. "To karma." "To truth," Andrea added. "To freedom," I finished. Another knock, this time a delivery man with a large package. Inside was a framed magazine cover. My face, my story. Phoenix Rising. How one woman exposed a dynasty's decay. "Put it there." I pointed to the wall facing the elevator. Anyone visiting would see it first thing. Andrea's phone chimed. "Mom's landing early. I should go." "Give her a hug for me." I walked her to the door. "Dinner tomorrow? All of us?" "Wouldn't miss it." After she left, Samara helped me arrange furniture, turning the penthouse from empty space into home. No photos of Gregory, no Walton family heirlooms, just my achievements, my taste, my life. "You know," Samara said, adjusting a lamp, "most people would have settled, taken the quiet divorce, kept the secret. Most people didn't watch their husband and his mother destroy lives for sport." "True," she paused. "Any regrets?" I walked to the windows, looked out at my city. Somewhere down there, Anne sat alone in her mansion, counting her losses. Gregory slept in his one-bedroom apartment, learning to live without lies. August faced federal charges. Zoe packed for Seattle. "No regrets," I said finally. "Just lessons." Like karma needs evidence, justice needs receipts, and sometimes the best revenge is simply standing in your truth until the lies around you crumble. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Gregory. "I know it doesn't matter now, but I'm sorry. For everything. You deserved better." I didn't respond. Some chapters are better left closed. Samara raised her glass. "To standing in your truth, to climbing higher," I added, thinking of all those times Anne looked down on me. Now I had the best view in the city. The setting sun painted the sky gold, reflecting off my windows. Below, Andrea's car pulled away, heading to reunite with her mother. Tomorrow they'd join me for dinner, 2 more survivors of the Walton dynasty's collapse, ready to build something new. I touched the magazine cover, traced the word Phoenix. Anne once told me I'd never rise above my station. She was right about one thing. I rose far above hers instead. The city lights winked on, one by one, like stars coming out. My city, my truth, my life, finally, completely mine.